All right, welcome everybody. This is Britt Moore, the chairman of the Finance Committee. We're here at High Point City Council Chambers for our October 29th meeting of the Finance Committee. I am currently present here, and we're going to do a quick roll call of the other members. And make sure we're all mic'd up. Monica Peters, are you with us?
Yes.
Councilman Jones, are you with us?
Yes.
Get him a little bit louder. Go a little louder if you can, Victor, on the next one. I got you. Michael Holmes, are you with us?
I am.
All right, welcome. All right, so everybody is present, so we will not waste any more time. We'll get to the first item, and that item is 2020-410. It's a contract with HPU concerning the Roy Culler Senior Center. And Greg Ferguson is going to explain that one to us.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, item 410 is the consideration of a lease with High Point University for the temporary relocation of the Roy Culler Junior Senior Center. The city has been working on a permanent location for the senior center since the approval of the 2019 bond referendum that authorized funds for a new center. The current center on North Hamilton Street is substandard and is a smaller space, and staff has been working to locate a site for a new facility. We have not brought forward a site for consideration yet. At the same time, we've been looking at properties around the city and have considered a couple sites for maybe a temporary space as well. This site came up in some conversations with High Point University, and it has been used as the conference center or community center there at Ocala Mall. The center is roughly 35,000 square feet and is much larger than the existing facility on North Hamilton Street. The proposal or proposed lease is a lease term of up to 5 years and would be for no annual lease rate. However, the contemplated lease would include the city providing operation, utilities, and maintenance costs for the current facility, the new facility. The new facility is more modern in its design and use, and it provides for a large parking field out front with handicapped and ADA accessibility. There are some anticipated increased costs, mainly utility costs, which because of it being a much larger space, the utility costs will roughly double. However, the cost should be fairly standard as far as programming at the facility. There are a couple capital items that staff is working through to identify that may need to be addressed moving forward, and those are really around egress. So there's possibility of a door that may be added or could be added into the facility. That's a summary of the proposed lease. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. This is something that has been discussed a little bit. I think all of us council members are familiar with this proposal. Is there anyone that has any comments or questions on this item for Greg? Okay, if not, I would just add to this for those that may be listening. Ever since I've been fortunate enough to serve on council, first time in 2010, the Roy Culler Center has been a topic of discussion and something on the wish list, if you will, for a long, long time that we have needed and wanted to do for our senior citizens. You know, the bond was out there in 2019, so obviously there's an appetite from the citizenry to do the same. So I think this is a positive step, although not a final solution, in the right direction. So I appreciate everybody's work on it that's had a part in it. And I know that, as I said, we've still got to move forward to complete the new location, but I think this is a good first step. And if I have no more comments or questions on this, then I'm going to make a motion that item 2020-410 be approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, I'll take Councilwoman Peters on the second for that. So we'll go through. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters,
Aye.
and Councilman Moore is aye. That item passes. The next item is 2024-11, and it is kind of attached to the one that we just went over. And if you'll fill us in on that, Greg Ferguson.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, the second item relates directly to the usage of the existing facility on North Hamilton Street. Upon relocation to the temporary facility at Oak Hollow, the city does not intend to reoccupy the current facility for the use that has been used in the past. In discussions with staff with the Nido and Mariana Cobain Children's Museum, they've identified a need for some expanded space for their facility, the facility that's currently under construction on the site at the corner of Montlou and North Hamilton. There's some anticipated additional outdoor space for programming that could be acquired and utilized, and additional parking for the site. The city has talked with the museum's staff and personnel, and they have proposed to acquire the existing facility. We have discussed a proposal that they have made, which is acquisition of the space at $500,000, and that does include 4 parcels. Those parcels are on North Hamilton Street at 600 North Hamilton Street, also at 207 East Ray Avenue, 209 East Ray Avenue, and 211 East Ray Avenue. The tax values for those 4 parcels together is $793,000 per Guilford County's assessed valuation. There is a delta there. Part of the consideration in the difference in price is, quite frankly, the value of the lease over the 5-year period, up to 5-year period, at the new facility to be located at Oak Hollow. The cost at the new facility, again, are going to be a little bit higher, but they're going to be offset certainly by a greater amount of space. The value of the new space on an annual basis is about $140,000. So depending on how many years the city occupies the temporary site, there's certainly an offset there. And we do believe it'll take several years to identify a space, plan and design a new facility, and then get it constructed. So 2 or 3 years would probably be the tightest time frame that could occur. That's all I have with the presentation, but we can answer any questions that you might have.
Well, I'll just add a quick comment. I also think that the age and the condition of the current Color Center would, that's a number that nobody knows, but certainly the upkeep and maintenance on that over the next 3 to 5 years could be substantial. So I think that's got to be in consideration as well. Any comments from any other council members or questions? Seeing none, I'll make the motion that 2020-411 be approved.
Second.
Second by, I think I heard Councilman Jones this time. I don't know, I heard Councilman Holmes. Let's go with Councilman Jones here. I think that was first. And then we'll go to the vote. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Peters? Woman Peters, I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. Aye. And Michael, you got to go faster on that second.
I think there's a delay.
Oh, okay.
You say aye? Okay.
Aye.
All right, thanks. And Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thanks. Thank you, Greg. The next item is 2020-412. We're looking at a contract change order dealing with our wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Terry Hauk, are you with us?
Actually, this is Derek Boone, Assistant Public Services Director. I was going to present it.
Yeah, Derek's presenting.
All right, Derek, take it
Okay.
away.
Yes, sir. This is for the Ward Water Plant Upgrade Project. The contract to Wharton Smith was originally approved by council back in September of 2018 for the amount of $12,737,000. Contract length was for 3 years, and we are now in the final year of that project. And so we are now this is change order number 4. Change order number 4, there are 6 items to that change order. And what we typically do is we'll issue work change directives, and then if change orders get to the amount of that exceed $90,000, then we'll come back to council for approval. So we have there before you the list of the 6 items. 5 of them are added costs to the project, and then 1 of them is a credit to the city. Total amount of change order number 4 is $103,626. Prior to this change order, the increase to the project was roughly 3.1%. With this project, the increase of the project would be 3.8%. And so we are recommending that council approve this change order in the amount of $103,626 to Wharton Smith.
Comments or questions for Derek? Seeing none, I'll make the motion that this item 2020-412 be approved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a second. I'll give that to Councilman Holmes. We'll go through the vote call. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters? Councilwoman Can you hear
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters? Ryan, you want to check into that? It says Councilman Moore votes aye.
Aye.
There she is. I got you. All
Can you
right.
hear?
4 ayes. Thank you, Councilwoman Peters. That motion passes unanimously. The next item is 2020-413. This has to do with JAG funding, which is Memorial Justice Assistant Grant funding. And who's here? Is Chief Stroud on the line?
I am.
Give me 1 second, Chief. I can't hear you. Try again.
What about now? Any better?
Yep, he's got you coming in. Go ahead.
Okay. This is for our 2020 JAG grant. It's a reoccurring grant that we apply for every single year. It is a county-wide grant. The funds this year, the grant allotment is $241,872. We split that 3 ways. It is not equal. It's based on size and whoever is administering the grant, which is Greensboro. We split between Greensboro PD, the Sheriff's Department, and our department. Our portion of the grant this year will be $49,297.60. And we are looking to take that funding and push it into our body-worn camera program that we're trying to get off the ground right now. There is no required match for this. And the funds can be spent on pretty much anything, but we're making the push for our body-worn cameras right now. This is for the public hearing section of it.
Okay. Chief, this is Britt Moore. Out of the total amount of money, if it goes toward the cameras, what is your anticipated needed budget to complete your hopes for that project?
This is overall, it's several years in the making. It's going to be about a $1.5 million deal when it's all said and done over the payment periods that we're going to make. I think our periods of 5 years with none being made this year, but the last payments will be over the 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're looking to push out 100, I think it's 135 cameras onto the street that link up with our current watch guard systems that we have in the car. These will be the ones we wear on our bodies.
Gotcha. Any other comments or questions for Chief Stroud? Hearing none, I'll make the motion item 2020-413 be approved. Is there a second?
Second, Councilman Jones.
Second from Councilman Jones. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters,
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Chief Stroud.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The next item is 2020-414. It's an ordinance involving the High Point Fire Department reimbursements and grants. Is Rosalind McNeil with us?
Yes, this is Rosalind McNeil, Budget Analyst. What you have before you is an ordinance where the fire department has received several reimbursements and grants, and they are looking to use those reimbursements and grants to purchase hydrocarbon detectors, to replace some hazardous material suits that they previously used. They're going to also purchase 4 washer extractors for fire stations, and also to replace more personal protective equipment, chemicals, thermometers, and fogging machines that were previously used during COVID.
Okay. Any comments or questions on this, which is basically like a pass-through, right?
Pretty much, yes.
All right. Any comments or questions for Rosalind? Seeing none, I'll make the motion that item 2020-414 be approved. My second.
Second, Councilman Jones.
Second.
All right, good with Councilwoman Peters on the second. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters,
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Rosalind.
Thank you.
Next item is 2020-415. This is a contract concerning our Oak Hollow golf courses. With us today is the head of Parks and Rec, Lee Tillery.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Before you is an agenda item in reference to the replacement of some bulkheads along the golf course at Oak Hollow Golf Course. The course was built in 1971, and there's a variety of shore borders. We have bulkhead, we have some gables, riprap, and our bulkhead system, unfortunately, is the first of those that is starting to fail over the course of 40-some years. So we have about a 360-foot stretch of bulkhead that needs to be replaced, and it is on hole 4 at Oak Hollow Golf Course. We worked with the budget and purchasing division to bid this project out. We did have 3 responsive bidders to this particular project, and our recommendation is to go back with a similar type system. And that system is a wood, it's basically a wood timber system similar to what we have in place now. The cost of that, or the low bid of that particular bid, was $242,685.90 by S&S Construction, or I'm sorry, S&S Contracting of North Carolina. That is within our budget. This is our only CIP item in this current fiscal year, and it is within our budget. So we're recommending approval of that contract and hopes to move forward in that project here in the next few months during the winter. Be glad to answer any questions you guys may have.
So you hope to have it done and reinstalled for spring, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay.
Our hope is, we think it's about a 90-day project. Our hope is to start this project sometime in mid-December, if not January, but we do hope to have it done in time for the spring season.
And you still feel timber was the best type of materials? to
Yeah,
go
we
with?
did. We bid a few different options. We got some conflicting reports on expenses, but we thought timber may come in high, but it was actually one of the lower ones compared to block and some of the other type avenues we wanted to go. So we were comfortable going back with the same type system in that particular area, especially on that hole, since it's a par 3 and kind of the aesthetic part and how you're sitting on high and you really look down on it. I think it'll come back and it'll look just as good as it once did.
All right, well, if this is approved, I hope I got a couple, 3 dozen golf balls that you'll find down around there.
Yeah, we'll see what we can
somewhere,
do.
so if you get them for me, I'd appreciate it. Any comments or questions for Lee on this item?
Motion to approve.
There was a motion to approve. I think that was Councilman Jones. Was that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Holmes. We'll make the roll call. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters,
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is concerning our housing revenue bonds for Daniel Brooks. It's item number 2020-416, and Manager Randy McCaslin is here to share with us on that. Go ahead, Randy.
Mr. Chairman, what you have in front of you is a request from the Housing Authority for the council to adopt a resolution giving its approval for the issuance of bonds, housing bonds from the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency in an amount not to exceed $11 million for phase one of the replacement of the Daniel Brooks Housing Authority. As you will remember from previous presentations, their phase one of this replacement will include 100 units, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units that will be available and built over the next 3 or so years. They're expecting these bonds to be issued in 2021.
And, you know, these type of capital projects take a long time sometimes. You did mention over the next 3 years. When do we anticipate, if things go well, we may see dirt being moved?
I think they're in the final process now of getting all the current units vacated, and then they'll do the demolition, and then they'll start the construction. So we should see some actual construction beginning from, if I remember their timetable correctly, in 2021.
Any comments or questions on this item? I think everybody's familiar with it. I'll make the motion to approve item 2020-416. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Holmes this time. Go down the roll here. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters,
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Randy. The next item is 2020-417. It's considering the 1114 Tipton Street, and it's presented by Kim Thor. Go right
Yes.
ahead, Kim.
Hey there. Council was requested to adopt a resolution formally accepting the highest bid offer of $28,500 by MLB Enterprises LLC for 1014 Tipton Street. This was the highest bid. We started out with $22,000 on August 17th. We received 2 upset bids, finally ending with $28,500.
Any comments or questions? Then seeing none, I'll make a motion that item 2020-417 be approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jones. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters,
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. And my fellow council members and others, I failed to tell us at the beginning, item 2020-418 has been pulled. There was a change of heart by the buyer, so that one will go back. That one has been pulled from our agenda. The next item is 2020-419, sale of city-owned property by upset bid at 652 Wesley Drive, and Kim Thor presents that.
Council is requested to adopt a resolution accepting an offer of $4,000 and authorizing the sale of the property through upset bid. So we'll see if we get any upset bids on that. This is at 652 Wesley Drive.
Any comments or questions on this item? Then I'll make the motion that item 2020-419 be approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Woman Peters, thank you. Kind of hard with everybody remote, isn't it? Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Kim. The next item is 2020-420. This is a conveyance of property at 2111 Little Avenue. I'm showing Joanne's presenting. Is she remote?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. I was just pulling up the agenda for this item that is attached online, and it appears that the incorrect agenda memo is on there. I want to point out the difference between what you are seeing versus what the final agenda memo mentioned. This is about a transfer of the title, the actual deed of 2111 Little Avenue to the CDC for the purpose of low mod income housing. There are going to be two restrictions on the deed release, and that is going to be one, that the CDC agree that they will not convey the property to a for-profit entity. And the second is that the CDC is going to reimburse the city for any cost that the city paid out of city monies towards the development of the property and house. Just for information and update, the CDC has already delivered a check to the city in full for the amount that the city had expended in cost. They also have informed me that they have a qualified buyer. So both of those items that we are restricting on the deed release, as to my knowledge, have already been taken care of.
All right. Thank you, Joanne. Any comments or questions for Joanne? Seeing none, I'll make the motion that item 2020 is -420 is approved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Councilwoman Peters. Roll call. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is aye. That motion passes. We had a second item for everyone. That next one is 2020-426. This item as well has been pulled from our agenda for a positive reason. The bids that came back in, one fell below our threshold, which means we got a better price than expected. So item 2020-426 concerning downtown stadium paving project has been pulled from this agenda. Any questions on that? Okay, seeing none. Anything else that needs to come before the Finance Committee today? Then we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.